Son Gohan, better known as simply Gohan, is a fictional character in the Dragon Ball manga series created by Akira Toriyama. Gohan is introduced as the first son of the main protagonist Goku, and his wife Chi-Chi, in chapter number 196 Kakarrot, first published in Weekly Shōnen Jump magazine on October 24, 1988. Chi-Chi is a strict and protective mother to Gohan, forcing him to focus on his studies and forbidding him from practicing martial arts. However, due to the various threats to the Earth, she reluctantly allows him to fight, with him ultimately becoming one of the strongest characters in the series. Gohan has been well received by both fans and critics, the latter usually citing the character's growth from his initial appearance to his defeat of Cell. Creation and design. Gohan's name comes from the Japanese word Gohan, a continuation of the naming scheme of foods by Toriyama. Rice, being a grain, is not normally considered to be a vegetable, even though it is a common food. However, as the word vegetable is a culinary term, and not a botanical term, the name can also continue the naming scheme for Saiyan characters, which derives names from puns on vegetables. In conceptualizing for Gohan's character, Toriyama originally included glasses or a jacket to his apparel, and commonly, his hair is spiked up as seen in the final design. With the ending of the Cell arc, Gohan was meant to replace his father as the main protagonist. However, Toriyama later decided against it, finding the character unsuited for the role. As opposed to full-blooded Saiyans, whose hair stays the same from birth, Gohan's is drawn at varying lengths, and changes markedly in style. Initially, Gohan is illustrated garbed in a hanfu-like surcoat with a Chinese character fixed on the front and the four-starred Dragon Ball fitted on top of his hat. Piccolo later supplies him with a keikoji fashioned after Goku's, but substitutes the symbol with his own demon character E. Normally thereafter, Gohan is drawn with a keikoji modeled after Piccolo's own. On Namek, Gohan is portrayed in battle armor worn by Frieza's henchmen, having been given it by Vegeta in preparation for their encounter with Frieza. Prior to his second fight with Majin Buu, Gohan asks Kibito for an outfit resembling his father's, and is then drawn in a keikoji identical to Goku's. Gohan, from the alternate future, is dressed in a keikoji similar to that of his father's, and has a long scar across his left eye. Appearances. Gohan is introduced as the 4-year-old son of the series protagonist Goku. Described as well-mannered and reserved, Gohan's story begins following his abduction by the extraterrestrial Saiyan named Raditz, who is also his uncle. While Goku is pinned to the ground, Gohan's extreme distress explodes with the release of his dormant power, which allows him to injure Raditz. Piccolo then takes Gohan away following the fight and Goku's death, and trains him for the upcoming battle against the two other Saiyans, Vegeta and Nappa, though Piccolo is aware that training the son of his greatest enemy will be a risk. His tutelage under Piccolo forms a deep bond between the two characters, with Piccolo ultimately sacrificing himself to save Gohan during their fight with Nappa. After Vegeta's defeat, Gohan travels with Bulma and Kuririn to planet Namek to use the Dragon Balls there, as the Dragon Balls on Earth had turned to stone due to the Earth's god Kami's death. After succeeding in gathering the Dragon Balls, Gohan and the others wish Piccolo back to life, causing Kami and the Dragon Balls to be returned. Gohan, along with Kuririn and Vegeta, are then forced into an encounter with Frieza, who seeks the Dragon Balls for immortality. Shortly after the fight with Frieza begins, Kuririn is impaled by one of Frieza's horns. Frieza stops Gohan as he tries to save Kuririn, who has now been thrown into the ocean below, and he mocks him, saying it is pointless to try to save his friend since he and Vegeta are both about to die. Gohan is extremely angered by being unable to save Kuririn and attacks Frieza without hesitation. He manages to knock Frieza into a small island below, and then he blasts him with a series of energy blasts before ending the attack with a Mazenko. Later on in the fight, as Piccolo is getting repeatedly blasted from Frieza, who is now in his third form, Gohan blasts Frieza with another Mazenko, and once again pushes him back with it. Frieza is able to send it back at Gohan without taking any damage, but he is once again shocked that a child could produce such an attack. Shortly after this, Frieza transforms into his original and most powerful form. Once he does this, he immediately kills Dend, a young Namekian who had been secretly healing Gohan, Kuririn, Piccolo and Vegeta. Gohan is outraged by this and unleashes all of his power against Frieza. However, he is unable to land even a single blow. After Goku transforms into a Super Saiyan and defeats Frieza, the planet Namek explodes and Goku escapes while Frieza is left with serious injuries. Frieza is found in space by his father and is turned into a cyborg. Gohan is shown to settle back into school life on Earth, waiting for Goku to return home from Namek. After Trunks kills Frieza and his father King Cold then tells Goku about the androids, Gohan goes into the wilderness with Goku and Piccolo to train for the upcoming threat. After Vegeta kills android number 19, Dr. Gero activates androids number 17 and number 18, and Cell is discovered. Gohan enters the Room of Spirit in time with Goku where they train for 1 year. Gohan makes the jump to Super Saiyan while he is in the chamber, and after they emerge, both Goku and Gohan retain the physical characteristics of a Super Saiyan without any of the drawbacks of its form. After Goku initially fights Cell but realizes later that he cannot defeat him, Gohan is called to fight to the surprise of everyone else and Cell. During the fight, Gohan asks Cell to stop the Cell Games tournament and then he tells him about his power. Cell, instead of heeding Gohan's warning, attacks him in an effort to force Gohan to show his true power. Gohan holds his own for a while until Cell becomes impatient and bored. He releases Cell Juniors on the other fighters to provoke Gohan. After android number 16 is murdered by Cell, Gohan unleashes his rage and transforms into a Super Saiyan 2. Gohan easily defeats the Cell Juniors and proceeds to toy with Cell, now that he has a much greater power level. This backfires, however. He waits too long to finish Cell, who decides to self-destruct as a last-ditch effort to destroy Gohan and the Earth. Goku, in an act of self-sacrifice, uses teleportation to take Cell to Kyo-sama's planet. Thinking Cell dead, the fighters lower their guard only to be surprised by a blast that kills Trunks. Cell returns, having regenerated from a single cell that survived the blast, and also adopted the teleportation technique. Right before Cell is about to finish Vegeta, Gohan intercedes, which costs him the use of his left arm. As Cell charges up one final Kamehameha wave to finish the Earth, Gohan hears the voice of his father who gives him the resolve he needs to defeat Cell. They both launch large Kamehameha waves at each other, which initiates a power struggle. Cell is about to overcome Gohan when Vegeta uses his remaining energy to blast Cell, which distracts him for a moment. Gohan uses this moment to unleash all his fury into his attack, which causes it to overpower Cell's. It hits Cell full force, which disintegrates all his cells, finally killing him. The Gohan of the alternate timeline is presented in the volume number 33 side story of the original manga, Trunks the Story, in which he is shown to be the only surviving fighter. The others have all died at the hands of the androids. Gohan is shown training Trunks to assist him in battling androids number 17 and number 18. In this timeline, Gohan has become a Super Saiyan and is depicted wearing a uniform similar to his father's, one with his own kanji symbol on the back, Han, E/. Gohan states he wears it in hopes of becoming as strong as his father one day, and is mentioned that he bears a striking resemblance to Goku when donning it. He eventually loses his left arm fighting androids number 17 and number 18. He is eventually killed by the two androids after a battle where the two androids ganged up on Gohan, and killed him with machine gun-like ki blasts. In the present timeline, Gohan is shown enrolled at Orange Star High School in Satan City. On his first day, he foils a bank robbery as a Super Saiyan, and, with help from Bulma, adopts an superhero identity that he dubs the Great Saiyaman. He is also in a relationship with Videl. Participating in the 25th Tenkaichi Budokai, Gohan is depicted as having grown weaker, which the Daizenshuu World Guidebook explains as due to a lack of training and anger in transforming. Gohan, after having his chi absorbed by Spapuvich and Yamu, pursues the two and enters Bobide's spaceship with the Kashin, Goku and Vegeta, where Gohan later fights with Dabura. Following Majin Buu's release and Gohan's defeat at his hands, Gohan is taken to the home planet of the Kashin. After pulling out the Zeta sword and accidentally breaking it in a training session, Gohan unwittingly releases the old Kashin, who then performs a prolonged ceremony to unlock Gohan's latent powers. Gohan then returns to Earth and confronts Buu for a second time, and temporarily defeats him. However, he, along with Gotenks and Piccolo, are later absorbed by Buu. Once revived, Gohan is able to aid Goku's Genki Dama by lending his chi. Following Buu's defeat and a 10-year gap, Gohan has finally become a scholar, is married with Videl and they have a daughter Pan. Voice actors: Gohan is voiced in the original Japanese anime and all other media by Masako Nozawa. In the English Ocean dub of the anime, Gohan's child version is voiced by Saffron Henderson and Gillian Michaels while Gohan adult version is voiced by Brad Swale. In the English dub of the video game Dragon Ball GT, Final Bout, Gohan is voiced by Lex Lang. In the English Funimation dub, Gohan's child incarnation is voiced by Stephanie Nadolny for various media until 2010 and Colleen Clinkenbeard for Dragon Ball Kai, while Gohan's adult incarnation is voiced by Carl Hebert for almost all various media and Damon Clark for the History of Trunks TV special. Abilities: until his tail was cut, Gohan had the ability to become an Uzaru, a gigantic ape-like creature, by absorbing Blooks waves from a full moon. Gohan also possesses superhuman strength, as well as superhuman speed and reflexes, as seen during his training with his younger brother Goten. As a child, Gohan is depicted with an immense amount of hidden potential, which at first only revealed itself when he experienced fierce rage or distress. The vastness of this potential is shown consistently throughout the series as he ages and learns to master his powers from constant training and battles, such as when he becomes the first Saiyan in the series to become a Super Saiyan 2, the direct successor to the Super Saiyan transformation, during his battle against Cell. Gohan's potential is then fully unlocked by Old Kashin, which sees his power level rise to new heights, capable of easily overwhelming the seemingly invincible Majin Buu. Gohan can also freely manipulate his ki to fly using Bikujutsu, or concentrate it into beams of ki blasts, such as the Kamehameha or the Mazenko. Gohan can also use his ki in a defensive manner, such as generating protective energy shields. Appearances in other media: Gohan is a playable character in various Dragon Ball-related video games. He first appeared in the 1990 Japanese-language game Dragon Ball Z, Kai-Sha. Saiyan. Gohan has also appeared in crossover media such as Battle Stadium DON and Jump Superstars. Gohan, along with Goku, is parodied in the Robot Chicken episode Easter Basket. Gohan has been used in promotional merchandising at fast food chain Burger King, and collectible cards, such as the Dragon Ball Z collectible card game, have featured Gohan frequently. Gohan is referenced in the song Goku by Soulja Boy Tell 'Em, where he brags that he looks and feels like Gohan and a few other Dragon Ball-related characters. Reception: in 1993, Gohan placed first in a Dragon Ball character popularity poll voted on by Weekly Shōnen Jump readers, and was also voted the third most popular character by fans of the series for the 2004 book Dragon Ball Forever. Due to the popularity of Gohan, other merchandise, such as action figures, video games, and clothing have featured Gohan in Japan and in various countries around the world. In an interview featured in the second Dragon Ball GT Perfect Files, a companion book released in December 1997 by Shueisha's Jump Comics selection imprint, Masako Nozawa, Gohan's voice actress, stated that her favorite episode voicing Gohan was Sorry, Robot-san, The Desert of Vanishing Tears. Saffron Henderson, Gohan's original Ocean Studios voice actor, has stated she felt protective of the role and considers it to be one of her favorites. In addition, Gohan's original Funimation voice actor, Stephanie Nadolny, has said that playing Gohan was a unique and much-loved experience. IGN writer D.F. Smith liked how during the Cell games, Gohan has more screen time than Goku, and praised his scenes as one of the biggest moments from said story arc. Theron Martin from Anime News Network celebrated Gohan's development in the Cell games as he had grown up and become stronger. References